Good evening, and I'd like to call to order, after I destroy everything, call to order and welcome you to our Lucan Biddulph Council meeting for Tuesday, October the 7th. I would like to acknowledge that I am an ally of Indigenous peoples. The township of Lucan Biddulph is located on the treaty and traditional territory and ancestral lands of many Indigenous peoples and is covered by several Upper Canada treaties. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous peoples who call Lucan Biddulph home. We endeavor to unlearn colonial mindsets and practices and to grow in knowledge. As we build meaningful relationships, we recognize contributions of Indigenous peoples and respect their leadership and partnership in shaping and strengthening our community. We acknowledge historic and ongoing injustices that Indigenous peoples endure in Canada, and we affirm our commitment to honoring Indigenous voices, nations, and cultures, and to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? There are no additions to the agenda. So did you know that this week is Fire Prevention Week? This year's theme is Charge into Fire Safely. Get to know lithium batteries in your home. This theme works to educate everyone about using these batteries safely. The campaign stresses how important it is to buy, charge, and recycle safely when it comes to lithium batteries. The theme emphasizes that you can find resources to help you buy these batteries that meet safety standards, that there are proper ways to safely charge your devices, and that there are steps to follow to dispose and recycle your batteries responsibly. Please visit nfpa.org for more information. Friday is October 10th and is recognized as World Mental Health Day. The overall objective of World Mental Health Day is to raise awareness of mental health issues around the world and to mobilize efforts in support of mental health. The 2025 World Mental Health Day theme is Access to Services, Mental Health in Catastrophes and Emergencies. This theme emphasizes the critical need to provide mental health and psychosocial support to people affected by conflict, disasters, and other crises, as well as the workers who deliver this support. The goal is to ensure that mental health services are readily available to those in vulnerable situations, highlighting the importance of integrating mental health into emergency responses and strengthening resilience in affected communities. As we have shared so many times, there are many resources out there. If you or someone you know or love is struggling with addiction and or mental health challenges, help is available. 1-833-456-4566 is a number that you should be plugged into each and every phone. It is the mental health crisis support line, and locally you can access resources through CMH's Reach Out program, and you can do that through info@reachout247.ca. We do not have a public meeting, but we do have a delegation today. And joining us is Paul Sherman from Aqua. And Paul, come on up to the speaker's desk. And he will be presenting our second quarter reports for both of our wastewater plants. So, Paul, welcome. It's great to see you, and I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, Your Worship, members of council, and municipal. Tonight, I'm presenting the second quarter of the 2025 Lucan Biddulph Operations Report for Wastewater. To date in 2025, the Lucan Water Pollution Control Plant and the Granton Wastewater Treatment Plant have performed well. There have been no spills, overflows, or bypasses. There was, however, one non-compliance. On June 9th, a non-compliance was reported to the MECP for exceeding the ECA limit of total phosphorus for the month of May. The exceedance was due to low alkalinity coming into the plant and the difficulty of balancing the pH levels. The plant relies on lagoon water being brought back to increase the alkalinity. The Granton WWTP is currently at 44% of its rated capacity. There have been 8 days to date where the raw flow exceeded the ECA capacity of 270 cubic meters. The Granton ECA does not require additional sampling when above the rated capacity. The objectives for TSS were not met April through June. Design limitations result in challenges in meeting these TSS objectives. Difficulty in obtaining the correct chemical doses to meet the TSS while maintaining the pH is also a challenge. Some general maintenance taking place was there's a filter repair due to a component failure, a transfer pump, electrical repairs, repaired a VFD on a blower, semi-annual cleaning of wet wells. The plant has participated in several game days as part of the demand response program. A few alarms we have received was a blower and a RAS power disruption due to weather, a security alarm due to a door sensor failure, a Granton high level due to a heavy rain event, and a generator alarm due to a power failure. To date, we have no community complaints. This concludes the second quarter of the wastewater report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Paul. Any questions or comments on the report in front of us? Councillor Hodgins.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the report, Paul, and all the details in it. I just wanted to ask, with it being so dry lately, it hasn't been a whole lot of rain. So are we seeing the flows a little bit lower with that? Like when there's a lot of rain, we might see some more water get into the system. So is it, are we seeing that in the flows?
We definitely haven't noticed any, we've had less high flow events for overflow in the wet wells than normal. And due to the dryness, we haven't had as much water to the lagoon, which has been the problem of bringing it back to the plant, which we use quite a bit. So that has caused that issue too, but with the dryness.
Thank you. And just with that one exceedance, I was just going to ask about that for the phosphorus. And so that gets reported to the ministry. And are there any other, negative impacts that happen as a result of that? Like, I guess, what is the phosphorus? Did it affect the water course downstream or?
Yeah, there's no negative impact, but we have made changes to bring another chemical into the plant to help with pH levels. Just do with those flows. So we're not actually using now a caustic soda, which will bring up that pH level and helps with that.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Any other questions? Councillor Westman.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Just asking about the thing I always ask about, fats, oils, and grease. How are we looking there? Is there any change? Is it the same?
Yeah, there hasn't been much change. We did go check out some manholes in Granton. With help with the municipality, they did go through a bunch of them. We didn't see anything out of that normal, so.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Paul. It was great to see you. And we'll look forward. I guess we got one more report before the end of the year, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Great.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. With that, I would ask for a mover and a seconder to receive the second quarter reports as presented. Councillor Westman and Councillor Hodgins, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. So in front of us, we've got the minutes from September 16th. And if nothing needs to be updated, I'd ask for a mover and a seconder to approve those as circulated. Councillor Hodgins and Councillor Westman, all in favor? This is carried. Thank you. It's going to be the theme tonight, the two of you. The minutes are all going to be Councillor Hodgins and Councillor Westman. So we've got the consent agenda in front of us. I didn't know if there was anything that anybody wanted to speak to. I'm just going to mention, just in the Middlesex County highlights from the September 23rd meeting, we had a delegation at that meeting from the London Middlesex Local Immigration Partnership, and it was fascinating. So if you have a few minutes, I would encourage you to read that. But I was telling staff that Joe Windsor from the county is going to come out to the local municipalities at some point to talk about the impacts of immigration in the county and our local municipalities. But it is very interesting how it's changed over the years. Okay, if there's nothing to discuss on those, then I would ask mover and a seconder to receive those for information. Councillor Westman, Councillor Hodgins, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. And under correspondence, a number of resolutions have been received. Any to speak of? Okay, then to receive and file those, Counselor Hodgins, Counselor Westman. All in favor and carried. Committee reports, nothing from Blue Water, nothing from CEDC. Lake Huron, we did have a meeting last week and we did present, or the budget was presented to us. And I do have a copy of it, or you can find it online if anybody wants to see it. It was interesting that the staff recommendation, which follows the financial plan that we adopted a few years ago, recommended a 5% increase to the water rates to the member municipalities. But the board actually recommended a change in that to 4.5%. So it doesn't make a huge difference, but it will be obviously a lower amount that comes that were charged over the course of the year. Then the other report that was in the document that was fascinating, and I did give it to Jeff, is they will be in the process of having to develop a tender and RFP package for a new contract. So right now they've had Aqua as their contracted authority, and that contract's been extended to the length of the lifetime of the contract. So it's quite a process to develop that package, and it's quite a timeline. So knowing that in the next year or so we'll be in the same boat as coming up to issuing our contracts. Jeff has that too. So if anybody's interested in that, they can take a look at that. And that was the highlights from our Lake Huron meeting. Nothing from fire boards and ABCA.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We did meet September 18th and not too much to share. Just one thing I was going to highlight is that Conservation Authority is developing or updating the master plan for Rock Glen Conservation Area. And this Thursday, this week, we are meeting to do a budget information session. So kicking off that process.
Yeah. Maybe when I, just because I've got ABC in Upper Thames, we did their tree flower day on Saturday and had the trees from Upper Thames, and that was great. It was very successful. I think there was maybe, I don't know, 120 trees, I think we were purchased, and everybody was excited to pick them up and put them in their properties in the nice weather that it was. So it was good. Yeah, Councillor Hodgins.
Sorry, one other thing that I forgot to mention, the Conservation Authority did issue a low water advisory, so that was upgraded to a level 2. And so they're regularly monitoring both rainfall and stream flow. And then when it reaches certain levels, it goes into a level 1, 2, or 3. So they did post that, and there are some suggestions there for limiting water use, more so for, I think, municipalities that draw water from the ground, but there's some information there on the ABCA's website.
Great, thank you. Parks and Rec, there are draft minutes from the September 18th meeting. Did you want to add anything, Darcy?
No, I think the minutes are there. It was a great discussion about a few things, and if anyone has any questions, gladly answer.
Trails and connectivity, Councillor Westman.
Yeah, we had a meeting last week and we had a pretty good discussion. A lot of good ideas came forward. We had some talk about the proposed and potential trails that will be going through the new subdivision Timber Ridge, as well as our ideas and thoughts on the trail around the soccer fields. So yeah, we instructed staff to put together some ideas for how it would be built and how do we quote it out, but it was really good, productive conversation about that. So we've got some stuff coming forward to a future council meeting about tenders and what it'll look like. So
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay, staff reports, Ron.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first report before council tonight is the replacement appointee to the Middlesex County Police Services Board. At the present time, we have a joint appointment with North Middlesex. The current appointee was Deputy Mayor of North Middlesex, Paul Hodgins. He's advised us that he's stepping down. And so therefore we need a replacement. I spoke with Carolyn Tripp, the CAO in North Middlesex, and said if they had anybody that they would like to replace Mr. Hodgins with, that would be great, and to let us know. And if they didn't have somebody, that we could possibly have a person who would be interested in it. And she got back to me and confirmed that Bill Irwin would be their choice for a replacement there. So again, being their turn to make the appointment, the recommendation before council tonight is that the appointment of Bill Irwin as our joint North Middlesex / Lucan Biddulph appointee to the Middlesex County Police Services Board be approved. And there is, I believe, a subsequent bylaw to be approved later in the meeting. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that. Any questions on that? Okay, you've got the recommendation. Councillor Hodgins and Councillor Westman. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next one.
Next one before council is the sale of municipally owned lands. It's the northern part of what we consider our industrial land there. It's the lands that lie north of the Heenan Drain. It's about 9.39 acres approximately. We won't know exactly until we get a proper survey, but just a note that we are retaining a 6-meter strip along the north part of the drain. So we will continue to have access to the rear portion, which is home to, forget the number, I think about 3,500 trees that were planted in conjunction with the Asaba Bayfield Conservation Authority. So we used the county procurement officer again to do an RFP. We did receive 3 prices, and they are included in the report. They range from 5,000 per acre to 35,155 per acre. The $35,155 bid is proposing a tree farm and nursery on that piece of property. It is should also be noted that the property is zoned A2, which is undersized agricultural. So it is not zoned industrial at this point in time. So it's fairly straightforward. I think the numbers speak for themselves. So the recommendation before council tonight is that they approve the recommendation is to award the RFP to Sean Gibson in the amount of 35,155 per acre based on the 9.39 acres. And again, the property acres will be amended following the severance and the total property purchase price being updated to reflect the exact number of acres. So, happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on this? Okay. You've got the recommendation, so Councillor Westman and Councillor Hodgins. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
The next report is in regards to the upcoming 2026 municipal election. Seems like a long ways away, but it's really not. And this again is to put a bylaw before council. We're asking for approval to proceed with the alternative voting method, which since the 2010 election has been by internet. And that I believe every time we've used it, people get more used to it. So this will now be the 5th time, I believe, that we've used internet voting. I personally believe it's the way of the future. It's worked fantastic. It gives people the option, doesn't matter where you are.
We used it in 2010. I think we were still in the. I think we were still in Lap Hall actually in 2010. Maybe it was a combination. Maybe.
We're going back into the archives now. That's 15 years ago.
I know.
That's 15 years ago. But anyway,
It is anyways, yeah.
we have used it consistently in the last number of elections. And thanks to Lisa. Lisa actually did the report for me in here. It is interesting to note that the new municipal voter view system, and we'd encourage everybody to go on the system to check their information, make sure it's correct, because this is the sort of the master list, if you want to call it that, and it's for not only municipal elections, but also for provincial elections. So we hope more people use it. And Lisa, I don't know if you wanted to add anything?
Just actually quick clarification. Sorry, in the report, it says Monday, October 25th. It's Monday, October 26th. So I apologize for that date. That's all. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. So again, the recommendation before council is that council adopt an implementing bylaw to confirm the use of internet/telephone alternative voting method for the 2026 municipal and school board election being held Monday, October 26th, 2026, and further that staff be directed to proceed with the procurement of equipment and services for internet and telephone voting for the 2026 municipal and school board election with IntelliVote Systems, Inc.
Okay, questions on this? Just curious on the cost. It's $275 per elector. Is that per a registered elector or per elector who chooses to exercise their vote?
That will be based on the actual, sorry, I can't see myself. Sorry, that will be based on the actual final electors list, people who get mailed out their voter registration letter. So that's the cost really, is the voting, is the mail of the registration of your PIN number and everything like that. So that's the main cost of that is postage. But yeah, it's based on our final numbers when we clean up the list, and that's the amount we are charged.
And I assume there's going to be more information as the year goes on, as to.
Whether there is a.
Well, I was gonna say,
There is a school board election, I think.
Well, yeah, but just how people can get on the voters list and check and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's already on the, excuse me, Madam Mayor, it's already on the website, that part of, if you want to vote, learn more sort of thing. And as we get closer, more stuff will keep populating on the website. And obviously social media and all those things, newsletters as well.
Great, thank you. All right, any other questions? Then you've got the recommendation in front of you. So Councillor Hodgins and Councillor Westman, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, did you have anything verbal?
Just a quick verbal update, the close of applications for those interested in the Director of Emergency Services and Fire Chief position was yesterday at 4:30. So we did get a number. I'm thinking we pretty close to 20 applications. So we will be summarizing those, getting the interview committee ready to go. So that'll be in the works over the next few weeks. So.
Thank you. Okay, Tina.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, and to members of council. Just a report in front of you to update a few policies. Staff has continued to review old policies and update as required. And before you, we have the birthday and anniversary recognition policy. That policy was updated into our new policy format structure, and it just describes the eligibility for birthday and anniversary letters and process for requesting and administration of the program a little more clearly. We also plan to expand and provide a process on our website with a request form for that. The next policy is the citizen recognition policy. Again, that's an old policy that's been updated into the new structure, and it provides clear guidelines on the process for determining a recipient's eligible of recognition. And the third one was the prohibited merchandise for distribution by vendors on municipal property. That policy was updated and expanded as well to provide a little bit more clarity for vendors and staff. That policy would, like I said, was in place before, but it's just expanded and will come in handy for things like the craft show. And that's everything. If there's any questions on those.
All right, thank you, Tina. Any questions on these policies in front of us? Okay, maybe just when we get the online form for the birthday and anniversary recognition, we can look at a social media campaign so people can know how to get recognized for those special events, that would be great. All right. A recommendation in front of you, Councillor Hodgins, Councillor Westman. All in favor, and that's carried. New meeting schedule.
Just pull that up here. Yes, and the next one is our annual report regarding the council meeting schedule for the following year. This meeting schedule follows the same practice in past with meetings at 6 p.m. and one daytime meeting for the summer months. The dates were also compared with conference dates for 2026. There was one small conflict with the conference in January, and due to that and the traditional low volume of a first agenda, the first year we decided to do one meeting in January. So that'll take place in the middle of January instead of the first and third week. Keep in mind, we do have the option to add meetings if we need to amend the schedule, but we do try and stick to it, obviously. Other than that, the rest of the meetings were all, there was no conflicts there.
Thank you, Tina. Any questions on that? All right. Mover and a seconder, Councillor Westman, Councillor Hodgins. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Did you have anything verbal?
No,
Nothing? Okay, nothing from building. Catherine, finance.
Just wanted to provide an update on where we are in our investment policy journey. Because it's on the business of rising, don't want to lose sight of it. When I was at the MFOA conference in the middle of September, I was introduced to the One Investment, which is a organization that helps municipalities, particular on investments, and they have templates and all that wonderful tools and the knowledge. So we've met with them, and I'm working with them, and I plan to have them attend a council meeting in the not so distant future, but I don't know if it'd be this year or early next year, depending on the timing, and they'll be able to tell you how investments can work for municipalities and what the options are, and be able to answer all your questions. And it'll be accompanied with a report at that time. So just want to give an update on that. And then I also wanted to draw attention to the appointment bylaw that's in the package. And it's just the one change. Well, I don't know if there could be other changes, but the one particular is the finance committee naming Councillor Westman to join our team this go around. So that's the reason for the amendment there. So and that being said, we'll be coming up with some dates this week. So watch your emails for those. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. Any questions for Catherine? Nope. Planning, nothing from planning. Public Works, Jeff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have three reports tonight. The first one is a follow-up report, the winter maintenance plan update. I did a presentation to council on September the 16th. And then at that time, council asked for clarification on performing winter sidewalk maintenance activities. We were talked about once every 24 hours versus the actual minimum maintenance standards, clearance and treatment times of 48 hours. So as I looked into this and received some information, there is both options are available, but coming forward, given the extensive length of sidewalks we have right now, and only the one single machine at the present time, the Public Works Department, I'm recommending that we adhere to the 48-hour standard for sidewalk clearing and treatment. This would follow, I put this in the winter maintenance plan and confirm that the sidewalk maintenance follows the MMSS, minimum maintenance standards. For clarification for council, the township sidewalks are maintained as soon as practicable when conditions warrant. Designated priority route is cleared first, and when feasible, may be maintained twice a year. And that is our downtown area and our sidewalks that lead to the school. Past practices, if practicable, additional sidewalk maintenance will be done. Staff will work when needed, and this may exceed the minimum maintenance standards, which does not create a problem. This practice already exists and has been done on the roads. And the example I give is that the roads are maintained throughout the day. If conditions exist, staff and equipment are available, we continue to work on the road. So basically what we're going to do is follow the minimum maintenance standards for the 48 hours. But at the same time, if staff can continue to maintain the sidewalks under their under their the equipment's available and the staff or equipment will continue to monitor or continue to maintain the sidewalks like we have in the past. So I think that's the best way at this present time to move forward. Before I end the report, I just had a note also in this report that while we were gathering information on the sidewalk maintenance, it was pointed out that the sidewalk patrolling should be based on on weather monitoring. And I've changed that. I've changed the sidewalk patrolling to be based on weather monitoring in the plan. So that also changed in this edition of the plan. So basically, as the weather is being monitored, if conditions exist that the sidewalks may need maintenance, a patrol will be done and activated. So and done there. So I'll leave it at that. And if council has any questions.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate those updates. Any questions on the changes that Jeff made after our September meeting? No. I think you've got a thumbs up here. I think I know I think I'm more comfortable with just saying that it's 48 hours and then I think it's a much better approach. So, okay. With that, you've got a recommended motion in front of you to receive the report for information and that we adopt the Township of Lucan Biddulph Winter Maintenance Plan prepared in accordance with Ontario Regulation 239/02 Minimum Maintenance Standards for Municipal Highways. Mover and seconder, Councillor Hodgins and Councillor Westman, all in favor, and that's carried. And Jeff, maybe I should have asked this question before, but just like, obviously, you've always had a winter maintenance plan, but this is the first time we've really had it presented in this form. So I assume, as you always do, you'll just keep track of it, and should it need to be changed for 26, 27, you'll do so accordingly.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, your next report, please.
So the second report is a report, and this is something that we've brought before council before. This is for the council's affirmation or approval or acknowledgement of the 2025 Drinking Water Quality Management System Operational Plan. I know that's a lot, but it is in place. So I'm just going to read the background. Under the Safe Drinking Water Act in 2002, the owner of the drinking water system is required to always have accredited operating authority in place. The Township of Lucan Biddulph is the owner, and Jacob is the accredited operating authority for the drinking water system. The operational plan is comprised of 21 elements which outline the understanding of the drinking water system, the responsibilities of the township, and the responsibilities of Jacobs. To demonstrate the owner's support of the drinking water system, council's endorsement of the plan is required. So but again, this is not something that's new to council. The drinking water quality management system requirements outlined in the operational plan are essential components to the management framework that operations, staff, and senior management are required to follow. The operational plan is reviewed and updated annually to make sure information is current and meets legislative requirements. The 2025 update reflects the latest compliance obligations and the operational best practices. Endorsement of this plan demonstrates the township's commitment to ensuring safe, reliable drinking water services for their residents. As part of the report, I did include a copy of the operational plan. So if there's any questions?
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Questions or comments on this? I know it, as Jeff said, it is something we see on an annual basis. But comments, Councillor Hodgins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No, I'm good with the motion. I just did have one quick question that came up when I was reading through the plan. And I think I just saw that we just have we have one takeoff point from the Lake Huron system. And I'm just wondering, just with having like a single feed to our whole water system, is there any risk there or vulnerability there with that one line, or do we know it's in like good condition? Because I just assume, you know, if that's feeding our whole system and something happens, we might be in a bad place. But I'm just wondering if there's any comments on that, or if we're pretty good just the way it's set up.
Yeah, and through the mayor, it is our only access point to water. We don't have a backup system in place. However, we do plan if that, whether it was lack of water in the pipeline itself or a severance of that water main, we do have a plan in place that we can bring water in to supplement the system. So that is part of the I don't want to say that is part of the plan, that we do have emergency backup if we needed it. It certainly would be a very big inconvenience, and it certainly would be an emergency if we had a severance, but we would work to get that corrected right away.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Then for the recommended motion in front of us, to receive and receive the report as required under the Ontario's Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks Drinking Water Quality Management Standard, and endorse it. Councillor Hodgins and Councillor Westman. All in favor. And that's carried. Thank you. And your third one, Jeff.
Yeah, the third report, Madam Mayor, is tender results. We did tender for the downtown streetlight replacement, as well as the upgrades to the electricity that feeds those streetlights. In a previous update, I had said that the outlying time to bring in the poles or get the poles here would put us into January. So the tender did go out right away, so people can we can award this tender, but the work itself will not be done until the springtime, when the poles can be gotten. In the tender, we are recommending we take low tender. It was JR that was low tender. They were $267,574. And that, although when we compared that to the budget and I broke it out into the impact of the budget, it is slightly over our budget. The lights themselves were budgeted for 110,000. It came in at 114. And the electro upgrades, we budgeted for 140, and it's coming in at 153, 389. I would point out to council that the upgrade cost, electrical upgrades, include a $40,000 contingency. So that's a fairly large contingency on the size of this tender. But the only thing I would suggest is, or the reason why, is because when you dig up the downtown with the older area, you never know what you're going to run into. So we wanted to keep a contingency there just in case we get into something that we are unaware of. Also, too, I'd point out these are the contractor did have to budget for doing it next year. So I'm sure there's a little bit of materials and planning for that also as well here. So I am recommending that we move forward with it as presented in the tender.
Okay, thank you for that. Questions on this one? Yeah, Councillor Hodgins.
Just some comments. I think it looks great. I mean, it seems like we're always getting lots of submissions on our tenders, so that's great to see, and very competitive pricing there. And I think we've heard good things about this contractor with some of the work they're doing for the subdivision. So I'm hopeful it's going to be a good, successful project. Just one last comment, and I did bring it up during CEDC. Just with the nature of the work and it being like in the downtown area, I just want to, I guess, emphasize, communication with businesses and working with them and coordinating those impacts while the work's happening. I think that's going to be really important. So just wanted to note that, but very pleased with the results here. Thanks.
Thank you for those comments. I think it'll be a great project for downtown. Very looking forward to it. If there's no other further questions, then Councillor Westman and Councillor Hodgins, just to mix it up. All in favor? And that's carried. Thanks. Did you have anything verbal, Jeff?
I'd just like to say that we did have the tree program on Saturday, and we did, it was well attended. I think it said there was well over 100 trees purchased through town. Julie, I'd just like to thank Julie. She was the one that organized it and actually was out there on Saturday with the residents and made sure that everybody got their trees. So just a shout out to her. But yeah, no, it was good. Good.
Okay, Darcy, anything from you?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick update as we welcome families back into the arena for another hockey season. We will be closing down the parks. Portable washrooms all got taken away late last week, and our main washrooms and our splash pad following this long weekend will be closed. But I do thank the residents. We had a great summer with very little vandalism in our parks, as well as I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our staff for doing such a great job taking care of our parks. You can definitely see the pride both our staff and residents take in the park, and it was a very good summer. So thank you.
Just your activity report was in the consent agenda, and there was just two things I wanted to highlight was the new dugouts in Market Street Park. They look amazing. I walked by them the other day. They look great. And just congratulations on another successful summer program. I think those numbers are quite astonishing about how those numbers have increased over a couple of years. So congratulations to your team for all of that. Any questions for Darcy on his verbals? Okay. Then we do have other business, and who's speaking to this one? Are you doing it, Jeff? Just the Wallace Drain, or, I mean, it's just the appointment of the Esprit. So I
Yeah,
don't think
Madam
we
Mayor,
can
so-
do that.
Yep. So this is kind of a follow-up to, we'd already talked about Spreett's working on the Damon Drain. And as the meetings with the residents in the area grew, and the Damon Drain does go into the Wallace Drain eventually. So to be legally and make sure that we're meeting the correct Drainage Act requirements, Spreett's have asked that we expand their appointment to include the Wallace Drain and Wallace B Drain in that with the Damon Drain.
Great, thank you for that. I'll move her to seconder, Councillor Westman and Councillor Hodgins. All in favor? And that's carried. Just remind you of the business arising, and if anybody had anything to add, to let Tina know to add that. No notices of motion. Any councillor comments? Councillor Westman.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. Just, there was a letter received in correspondence from Villages United Church for their Halloween walk. I just wanted to speak to that, it's a good annual event and brings out a lot of local residents and a lot of fun activities. So there's that. I also was wondering about updates on Saintsbury line. I see the signs are still up for road closed, but it looks paved. So I don't know if there's a update for that.
Yeah, I can give an update. So the road itself is closed for local traffic only. The detour signs and everything basically are down. The first base pavement is in, so it is paved to the first layer, and the county is then going to be paving the second layer at the end of the month in October. So then by the end of October, everything should be back to normal on Saintsbury. I would suggest though, for everybody's information, the McEwen Gas Bar is in the middle of renovations, and there is an extension of the water main going to go in across Saintsbury. So there will be a closure on Saintsbury but right at the intersection. And this is to allow the water main to go across Saintsbury. Unfortunately, it's long enough that it has to follow all the provincial regulations, so it has to be tested, clean, tested. We have to go through a number of days before that we can open the road due to the water main itself. So just a heads up, yes, the original construction is winding down on Saintsbury, but there is going to be another closure in next week starting. So.
More.
Yeah.
Also, I would like an update on the Fallon Drive Bridge construction.
Yeah, the Fallon Bridge with the weather, obviously we've had really good luck. They are ahead of schedule. But I'd hate to say that I can't give an exact date when it's going to be open, but it definitely is ahead of schedule. The work's going well, and I'll know better come the second week of November, just to see how it all plays out. But it's on schedule, or it's ahead of schedule.
Okay. Any other councillor comments? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bylaws in front of us. I think they've all been spoken to during the meeting. So a mover and a seconder for the bylaws 34-2025 through 37-2025 inclusive be read a first, second, third, and final time and be adopted. Councillor Hodgins, Councillor Westman, all in favor? And that's carried. And a mover and a seconder to adjourn our meeting at 6:48. Councillor Hodgins, Councillor Westman, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much.